Okay, next I would like to introduce Ms. Sheri and she is a strong advocate for conservative values, and she is currently the president of Stand Up South Carolina. And she is going to be talking to you about a lot of different issues here, and let's give her a big South Carolina welcome.
Thank you. I'm not quite as tall as Bill. Can you see me? I'm Sheri Few, and if you've been to any of the Tea Party events, which I hope you have here at the State House, you probably have heard me speak before. I am the president of Stand Up South Carolina. We're a grassroots organization that are encouraging folks to take a stand to defend our freedom. Much of the same things that you just heard Bill Connor talk about, because we're tired of the lip service from our so-called representatives. And I know that's why you're here today, and that's why I am here. I live in South Carolina. I live about 30 miles from here in a little town called Lugoff, and we decided in South Carolina that we've had enough of our so-called representatives, not only on the national level, but in this building right behind me. So we're very concerned about cleaning up our State House. You know, we've got the same kind of problems here in South Carolina that we've seen on the national level. For years, we had control of the Congress and the presidency, and we found ourselves just creeping more and more towards socialism. Well, then the people sent a referendum to those legislators and to the people, and now we're stuck with something far worse. Well, the same thing is going to happen here in South Carolina if we don't wake up. We have controlled the governor's office and both bodies of our legislature, and we have the good old boy system here, just like we have seen in Washington, D.C. So it's time for us to clean up this State House, and that's what Stand Up SC is all about. We'd love to have your involvement, and we've created a list of criteria for candidates who are running for office in South Carolina, and we're hoping that if you agree with the criteria we've established, that you will join our efforts. And we've already begun endorsing a few candidates that meet that criteria. One of them happens to be Bill Connor, the gentleman who just spoke to you, a true patriot. But I want to talk to you about our so-called health care reform, the travesty that happened late in the hours of Saturday night, as you well know. And I'm calling this the Obama-Pelosi gun health care bill. Now, most of you know, of course, who Obama and Pelosi are, but you may not know who Gunn is. Anton Gunn is a member of this House of Representatives. He represents a portion of Richland County. Well, if you didn't know that, what you probably didn't know is the fact that he is the state director for Organizing for America. That is what was formerly known as Obama for America. So that was the group of community organizers that helped to get Obama elected. Well, he was also the political director for Obama's campaign in South Carolina. So he's graduated from that to being in our South Carolina House of Representatives, and now he is the state director for Organizing for America, and he has traveled all around South Carolina this summer pushing the Washington, D.C. propaganda for health care. So I'm telling you that we have some work to do right here in South Carolina. We need to put an end to Anton Gunn's political career in 2010. We need to make sure that one of our own members of the House isn't going around spreading lies about health care in South Carolina. So that's why, and we need your help. I mean, I'm going to tell you in a minute about how you can help and how you can follow up with this campaign to end Anton Gunn's political career. But let me just tell you, I did a little research on the health care bill this afternoon in preparing to speak to you today. And let me just tell you some of the facts that you may or may not have heard about the Pelosi-Obama-Gunn health care bill. The bill will take coverage away from seniors and raise premiums for families. It will raise taxes on small business and workers and cost nearly 5.5 million jobs when our unemployment rate is already over 10%. The bill means the government will take over our health care system. But what is worse is the bill replaces the American idea with the European-style social welfare. The bill will lead millions of Americans Americans becoming dependent on the state rather than being dependent upon themselves. This is not about health care policy. It is forcing more middle-class Americans to become dependent on government. That's what the Obama-Pelosi gun health care plan is. The government takeover of health care means a one-size-fits-all health care system with government rationing, with a $3 trillion price tag just for 10 years. This government takeover of health care means heavy taxes and fees on individuals and small businesses. It relies heavily on a number of mandates and tax penalties, and it'll impose taxes on families, employers, and workers, including $460 billion in job-killing surtaxes on small businesses, another $135 billion in employer mandates, including play or pay scheme, punishing even small companies that are unable to provide health insurance to their employees. And to top it all off, if this isn't bad enough, an additional $33 billion in mandates, including an unprecedented Washington requirement that everyone must have health insurance or be subject to federal penalties, including jail. Yes, you will go to jail if you don't buy a government-approved health insurance plan. This is what the Obama-Pelosi gun health care plan is that was passed on Saturday night. So those of you who don't buy health care will be facing a gross misdemeanor with a fine of $25,000 or 1 year in prison. And if it's a willful evasion of health care, it's a $250,000 fine and 5 years in prison. As you know, the President and his allies in Congress have been pushing this bill for several months. But again, what you may not have known is that a Columbia boy named Anton Gunn has been his point person for some time. He was his state political director, helped to get him elected, and when he's done with health care, once they've finished with their plans for health care, the next thing on Mr. Gunn's agenda is cap and trade. So he'll be traveling the state, pushing the DC propaganda for cap and trade, which is another unconstitutional federal mandate on states. And Bill Connor talked about that. That is so important for us to understand, that these mandates from the federal government are unconstitutional. They do not have the right to impose these things on states. And that's why it is so important for us to elect people in 2010 that we can trust, that will stand up for South Carolina's sovereignty, for our state right as guaranteed us by the 10th Amendment. So I'd like you to tell Representative Gunn that if he wants to work for Obama, perhaps he should move to Washington, D.C. And if you want to help Stand Up SC to protect our American values, then we can start by making sure that we end Anton Gunn's political career in 2010. So if you'll see me after the event today, I can give you some information about how you can get involved with the campaign to end Anton Gunn's political career. Thank you, and God bless America.